The market opportunity has a growing demand for high quality content. If you go on Instagram now, at least for people who are in college or 30s, it's very performative. People post pictures that are high-end, high quality because people don't want to show their true authentic selves. So I thought to myself, if this high demand of people, I scroll on Instagram, I'm seeing so many cute photos, so many of this, I see people actually having professional cameras. And as myself who actually had friends that had cameras, I constantly saw this. So I thought to myself, how can I make this a solution for everyone? There's a shift from owning to renting though. We're tapping into the trend with a large, unreserved, peer-to-peer rental market. Our total addressed market is about 1.4 billion, with a focused entry point starting at the campus level. And this is the entry-level time frame. Start at Merrimack at a hyper-local level where trust and accessibility already exists. Offer early users $0 to drive early traction, and then have campus ambassadors do outreach on the business. Ideal client personnel. Our renters are budget-conscious creators who want high-quality gear without buying. Our lenders are students who already own equipment but don't use it often and want to earn extra income. We're connecting these two groups in one platform. Now the business model. This is how the app will look. You will be able to create an account as a user. You can, you will have to identify your identity to have that trust between you and the renter. You could upload photos and descriptions, set pricing, availability, and location for your items. You can browse and book. There will be a filter where you can categorize, find exactly what you're looking for. Secure payment. Payments are processed securely through the platform with built-in protection and optional insurance coverage. Pickup and return. Users coordinate pickup or delivery. Items are returned after use with ratings and reviews to build accountability and trust. And as you can see from the picture on the right, that's a kind of a draft of what it would look like, and it will be developed by your favorite engineer. Luckily enough, my sister is an engineer who develops apps, so she granted me cheap access to make a website for her, or a website for me. Financial analysis. So as you can see on the income statement, I put camera rentals at $5,000, event equipment at $5,000, and lighting rentals at $2,500. I did a core assumption. I went on Excel, did a bunch of sheets, and I said that if I had 2 cameras and I rented it for 5 days, for 200 days out of the year, how much money can I get from it? And I did that with more items, like event equipment, lights that you need to even have to take photo shoots, sports gear. Maybe you are in the town and you don't want to buy a whole beach equipment. You can get a volleyball and you can just pick it up at your neighbor's house who has a rent on her phone. Or tools. Maybe you don't want to pay $600 for an oil change, and you see someone offering, tools for a car that you can just pay $100 that day for. You can go and do that. And I just did that for a bunch of examples and put the days and the years that it will be available. But since you kind of own that, like it's not you selling it, it's you renting it out because it's still yours. So 200 out of the 100 other days you have to yourself. Competitors. Now, our biggest competitors, of course, is Facebook Marketplace, Fat Llama, and Best Buy Rental, because you probably think to yourself, I'm just going to buy it. This sounds too complicated, this sounds too inconvenient, I'm going to just buy it. But then you spend $2,000 and you see it and you're like, dang, how do I benefit from this purchase? How do I benefit from the process of this? How can I benefit and make everything better? How can I make money? Isn't that the benefit of everything, making money? So I was just like, rent it out, rent and return. This is exactly what we're offering. We're offering people to be able to rent it out, but also still have it because it has some type of value.
2 minutes left.
Important. Now comes that. So the $2,000 that is being offered today, I wanted $1,000 to be able to develop the app, which of course, like I mentioned before, my sister will develop. Register the business, which costs $550. In order to have an app, you have to also go through Amazon Web Services, which is like kind of the process of creating an app, which also costs $300. And then lastly, just marketing materials, $150. Thank you.
Questions?
Insurance, you had it in there, and
Yes.
it almost looked like it was optional. I would think on something as valuable as a high-value camera, that'd be required.
Yes, a lot of people were worried about trust, protection, how would this exactly look like, how I make sure my situation is dealt with, or how, if I'm renting something, how do I know that someone's not going to break it? How would I know someone's kid is not going to draw on it, piss on it, who knows? So I decided to create a survey and ask my users, or ask the respondees, well, how would they feel comfortable with this app? And they filled out a bunch of stuff. They said verify users, insurance and protection, review and rating, secure payments, ID verification, customer support, and more. Through all of these tasks, that's going to ensure people that when you rent something out, you're going to be protected. Now we're going to be in contact with an insurance broker to make sure that everything goes in line, that all of the contracts and policies look good, because it is definitely a tricky situation, because it's not easy renting from someone else because of that trust, because of that liability. So we'll just have to kind of get that nitty-gritty out of the situation from the insurance broker.
Kind of have a chicken and egg problem here. The renters and those that have equipment. Where do you start?
So just like myself, I can be a renter. If I have the app, I download it, I put my cameras on there. Now the other person, the recipient, sees that account, they're like, I really can use a camera today. My friends can't take photos of me. This is only $50 just today, I'm gonna rent it. Now, I can do that. Now everyone else, you can rent out whatever you want. If you wanna rent out your lawnmower because you're someone else in the next district who needs a lawnmower, if you wanna rent out, you know, if you have your own cameras, bikes, I thought too, maybe you could rent out bikes for, you know, the summer. If you don't wanna buy bikes, you just use it during the summer. You can just rent it out and you get it back. Winter, no one uses bikes, rent them out because you don't ever use it. It's just in your garage sitting there. These are just things that I walk around my house and I'm just like, hey, you can make me money. So I'm just walking around looking at things like, how can I get a little bit of cash? How can I get a little bit of money? If I give out my cameras just for $50 a day, how does that benefit me? And this is also just another, the core assumptions is that just a visualization of it and other graphs to answer any questions.
I've got a question about it.
Yes.
Fundamental is the number of renters and the number of users to these projections. How many renters and how many users and what percentage of the Merrimack population?
Can you repeat that question?
So think about renters and buyers, yeah? Or renters and people renting, sorry. How many people do you need on each side to make this work? And what are those numbers that make those numbers work? And what percentage of the overall target market is it?
Yeah. So let's say if I were to only rent out my cameras and one person opens the app and they rent that camera out for, let's say, X amount of days, maybe 15, 10, those days that they rent them out, I get 20% of that coverage profit, but also because I am also renting it out, I get that money. But let's say you're renting something out and the person who sees what you have wants it, they get to be able to purchase it and you get that money from yourself.
The question is specifically, under all these numbers, yeah, fundamentally is unique users to rent things and unique renters renting equipment. What percentage of the Merrimack population?
Oh, okay, I see what you mean, the percentage. So I did the survey, like I had said, and I had asked people when the app would launch how many percent would use it, and about 100% of people said that they would use it. So when it comes to users, if someone, you know, of course, when I market this business and people see that this business is, you know, it has accountability and stuff like that, then, yeah. If I have to be honest, I don't really know how to answer the question all the way because it's kind of difficult from my point of view because I am one user, and when it comes to people actually using my business and starting using using my business, all I can say is, how can you benefit from it? I know how I can benefit from it. I bet you can benefit from it too. And it's just guaranteeing that the users who want to use the app want to benefit from it as well.
How specific is this to the success of your enterprise that it's student to student rather than you to any aged consumer?
Yeah, so the goal of this is to not only just be on Merrimack, it should just be around, my entire community, and maybe even outside of that, but that's, there's journeys along the way, and just being able to, like my parents, for example, their friend, they thought my business idea was a good idea too. They even told me, oh yeah, there's so many ideas that we could come up with about this idea, that I could rent out, and I could do this and that. So honestly, the age bracket doesn't really matter. Anybody could do it. It just, for me, of course, for my...
But is there a certain business benefit to having a student-to-student relationship in the launch of this business?
I think so. I think me talking to other students and asking them, is there anything that you want to rent out, like a TV, for example? Let's say that we're in a dorm and we want to watch the game, but we don't have a TV. We see on the app that someone is renting like $10 a day to give you our TV. Then we can say, oh, easy. We can have that exchange.
Just a comment, I think you're underestimating the liability circumstance that could corrupt your business in a moment's time.
Yeah.
But let me offer up one other problem on the renter side of it. If I told you that I could get that same camera that you're going to charge me $50 for, but I could get it for free because I had a library card, and could go to the annual library and get it from the annual library, what does that do to your business?
It's kind of derails the business.
Yeah. Or, quite potentially, maybe it's a source of product for you as well. You could rent. You could get for a library, with a library card, that camera, that bit of machinery or tool or whatever, if in fact you have a need for it, and then rent it out.
But would it actually be your camera since you're using it from the library?
It would be the community's camera, the town of Andover's camera, and it's for free. Just trying to suggest that there are other sources of product for you.
Yeah. When it comes to cameras especially, I know I live in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and I know that a lot of people in Lawrence don't have like cards or access to cameras. So when I think about where I'm from, I know a lot of people who jump at the opportunity to rent something out to buy me. And I know in Andover there's probably more accessibility. But with that being said, it's not, I think the idea is not just for it to be cameras, I think it's for it to be more than just a camera. A camera is just a prime example of at home. But let's say it's something else, like a bike, for example. If you want to bike around campus, you could just rent it and return it.
All right, we're at time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. A few folks a few of the students are asking if they could ask questions too. I'd like to do that, but we have to keep a timetable here so we're not here very late. But what I would suggest is when we're wrapping up, there'll be some time where the judges need to decide who the winners are, who the winner is, and so there'll be time for you guys to mingle and talk and ask those kinds of questions then. So I apologize for that, but we do, I promised everybody, the event would be longer than 2.5 hours. So, we have had 2 of the groups go. Of course, I didn't pull those numbers out, so that...
4 and 5.
4 and 5, thank you. Actually, I did. So, if you would be kind enough to pick the next...
6.
Group 6. So that would be...
That's me.
Oh, Sophia.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Can I airplane?
You can. Well, I think you can.
I can figure it out. I know how to do it.
Switch it to airplane.
Yeah.
Apple TV? I'm still dubious because I was trying this earlier and I couldn't make it work.
Can I use this?
Yep. I don't see anything coming up.
It's okay. I know it.
This is Sophia. All right.
March 15, 2014. Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes. And their captain that night was me, 9-year-old Sophia Hausberger. My dad had entered me to win a raffle to become Bruins captain for a day, and somehow I won. The only problem was I didn't know how to skate. So naturally, we borrowed gear, headed to the TD Garden, and all of a sudden I was in the locker room about to skate out in front of 14,000 people during the national anthem. I took one step out onto the ice and immediately fell. Got back up, went back into the locker room, looked at myself at 9 years old in the mirror and said, Sophia, you just fell in front of 14,000 people. And that moment was really important to me. Because it's in moments like that when your mind can either tear you down or build you back up. And that moment stuck with me. As I prepared to become a Division I college athlete here at Merrimack, I realized that confidence isn't something people are born with. Confidence is built through how you train, how you fuel yourself, how you recover, and the mentors that guide you along the way. But as I grew older, I noticed a problem. Elite athletes have access to coaches, trainers, sports psychologists, nutrition guidance, mentors, as well as great organizations already in this space that offer development camps, leadership initiatives, as well as development camps. However, most young athletes don't have access to that level of support. Instead, parents are left navigating it all, trying to figure out what their child needs and how to connect it all on their own. And that is why my sister and I created Powerhaus Performance. Our mission is to empower young female athletes by integrating mindset, coaching, nutrition, and mentorship into a one-stop shop system that cultivates confidence, a better sense of identity, and high performance both on and off the ice. And the data reinforces just how important this really is. 85% of women say that the skills that they learned in sport were critical to their career success, and 80% of female Fortune 500 executives played sports growing up. But that's not how the system is designed. And the timing of this is super important too, because we are living in the era of women athletics. It is growing so fast. For example, the Professional Women's Hockey League, in only its third season, has already surpassed 1 million fans and continues to break attendance records. Because of this, participation has grown to 100,000 girls playing youth hockey in the U.S., but an alarming 45% drop out by age 14. Not due to a lack of ability, but to a lack of confidence, identity, and a poor environment. And even for those who are lucky enough to continue on, don't often receive female-specific guidance because women make up less than 30% of coaches at higher levels in youth sports, and even fewer at higher levels. The global youth sports industry is worth $70 billion, but it's fundamentally broken. Parents are spending $2,000 to $10,000 or more a year on private coaching and development camps, but what they're paying for is incomplete growth. They're paying for fragmented pieces of a system that were never designed to be connected. They're paying for skills and strength without integrating mindset and personal development and the habits that separate the good athletes from the great athletes and that translate well beyond athletics. Because of this, the investment is really high, but the overall return on a child's development falls short. And that's the gap. My dad actually put it best. He was sharing that back in the day, you went to the butcher for meats, the market for produce, the bakery for bread, the pharmacy for medicine, but then the supermarket changed all of that because they put everything you needed into one spot. And that's exactly what the youth sports industry is missing. So if the problem is fragmentation, the solution has to be integration. We're not replacing coaches. At Powerhaus Performance, we're simply guiding and connecting what already exists with 5 pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, recovery, and player profile. Together, these pillars not only create better athletes, but also more prepared and well-rounded athletes, individuals. What further differentiates us, my favorite piece, is the player profile, which touches on leadership and identity, both on and off the ice, as well as touches career and academic support to ensure long-term growth outside of athletics. We offer this through one-on-one mentorship as well as partnerships with pre-existing hockey camps to allow us to combine personalized guidance with structured development. Not only is this impactful, but it's also scalable because our model is built on revenues that families are already making through hockey camps, while our digital media monetization allows us to scale that impact beyond in-person sessions. And that is the piece and opportunity that we are ready to invest in today to accelerate our growth. To do so, we would invest the $2,000 prize money directly into our marketing efforts and our digital media development. This would include equipment for digital content creation as well as podcasting, so that we can create high-quality educational content and build and strengthen the professionalism and credibility of our brand. From there, we can create scalable resources that extend beyond our in-person workshops. With a relatively small investment, we significantly expand our reach, strengthen our brand, and drive growth. So here's what that looks like in the numbers. But before I go through our financial projections, I would like to note that our fiscal year begins in April, when the hockey season winds down and summer camps ramp up in preparation for the upcoming hockey season. So this means that our 2026 year is just beginning now. In year one, we focused on validation. We ran 2 paid workshops with Pro Admissions, as well as taking on a handful of initial mentorship athletes as part of a pilot phase, generating just over $1,000 in revenue. This allowed us to test demand, refine our model, and build a strong foundation with minimal costs. Oops. As a service-based business, we operate on a lean cost structure, so we can maintain strong margins as we grow. Our initial growth has been grown organically through word of mouth, as well as content created on our phones, allowing us to keep customer acquisition costs low while building strong demand. This year, in year 2, we'll focus on growth, estimating $50,000 in revenue with the assumption of the $2,000 prize money, which will allow us to maintain our strong margins due to our low overhead and our efficient delivery. In year 3, we'll continue scaling, gradually increasing our mentorships and our workshops that we offer. We'll also begin to see the return on investment made in 2026 into our digital media development, estimating just over $63,000 in revenue. As our presence expands across social media platforms and digital media, this will become a strong driver of customer acquisition costs and long-term growth. That's the financial impact. But the real impact is this. That 9-year-old who fell at TD Garden, she got back up stronger and more confident than ever. And that's exactly what Powerhouse Performance is all about. Equipping athletes with the skills and the support they need to not only reach elite performance, but also to enjoy the journey and live with purpose beyond athletics. So from the TD Garden to rinks everywhere, our mission is simple: to support athletes, not only to perform, but to also thrive on and off the ice. Thank you. Questions? Yes.
On your P&L, the working labor costs.
Yes.
So at what point do you show that as an expense, and how much of an expense is that compared to your revenue?
Yeah, so just so I'm understanding the question right, you're talking about like what does it take to deliver our services in terms of...
Right, so this implies that people are doing it for free, the coaches, the mentors, all that
Yeah.
stuff. And so I'm wondering, are you going to have a labor expense in here at some point? Or maybe all the network of people that are working with you, they're doing it for equity?
So we don't take on mentors. My sister and I are the mentors.
So it's a 2-person company?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. And maybe down the line, we start to incorporate more people, but right now, we're selling ourselves and our story. We're living it, so that is what we're selling. Yes?
Thank you. So the widget is mentorship,
Mhm.
and what does a unit of this widget cost, and how many widgets can you
Yeah.
increase for?
Yeah, so we have a 3-tier model, a basic, an elite, and a pro level. So each one, for example, the basic is just a 45-minute call every month, and then the elite is 2 calls a month for an hour each, and then the pro is an hour call every week, basically until they decide to stop. So that's essentially what they're paying for, and each tier has its own criteria, but the basic is a call, and then in between calls they have a monthly challenge where they work on certain habits that we talk about and things like that. Whereas the elite, we talk every other week. Again, their challenges and their activities and what we talk about will vary based on the frequency and what the child needs.
So the product is your expertise tailored to the individual.
Correct.
And do you have, so sorry.
No, you keep going.
And so do you have an inventory amount of China?
So, my sister and I have talked about this, we're both full-time student athletes.
Exactly.
Right, so,
Successful.
yeah. So, over the summer, we do this full-time. So we work with Pro Ambitions, we go to their camps. I'm also planning to go to a couple other camps this summer, random, around the state. But throughout the school year, we don't offer the elite and the pro, we only offer the basic package, just to give us enough time to plan out and make sure that we're giving 100% of what we can to the athletes. Yeah, go ahead.
So, well, really actually question, not a comment. So, did you really earn $43,000?
No, this is projected for this coming
Projected.
year, yes.
So, will you do that this year in 26?
Yes, that's what we're planning to do.
That's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Really,
Thank
that's
you
great.
so much.
And then I guess like, what do you do in the off season? Like, how do you scale this? Like, what's the broader 2-3 year vision here?
Yeah, so ideally we increase the workshops, we increase the mentorships. Down the line, like I mentioned, the digital media monetization, social media is huge for kids, especially the kids growing up. They're growing up with technology and social media. Ideally, my sister and I would love to get on YouTube, get on podcasting, get on social media, and really leverage that so that people have things to watch. We're kind of entertainment at that point, but in an educational way. So we're hoping that the YouTube, the TikToks, the podcasting can bring in another revenue and keep people, clients coming back, if that makes sense.
So mine was a comment rather than a question, rather than a comment. One, congratulations on the success. Two, at what point do you see yourself working on the business versus in the business? Because you're passionate about the sport, passionate about training, but at some point to scale to those numbers with zeros in the back end, you can't be on the ice every single day doing coaching sessions. So what does that look like at scale?
Right. So our main focus isn't exactly on the ice. It's really everything off the ice. So because a lot of this stuff, we do offer in-person sessions if it's local, but because a lot of this work can be done digitally, remotely, over Zoom, over call, I don't really have to worry about being in two places at once, because I can be in one place. So yes, your question's great, but I think with the projection of this, we kind of have to see where it goes, if that makes sense. And because it's just my sister and I right now, and we're both still student athletes, it's kind of hard to tell when and how we'll be able to split our time up. But I appreciate you asking.
Graduation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell me what the revenue per participant is on the larger revenue, $4,800?
Yeah.
Is that for one participant?
No, so the 40, I think in the reading deck I have it broken up a little bit better, but we're charging camps $1,000 per session, and then average of the 3 packages is about $480. So assuming that we take on 8 to 12 clients plus 8 to 12 workshops, that eventually gets us to that $48,000. Does that answer your question, or do you need a full?
Well, what does that work out as an average per participant?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I haven't done the numbers to include the average per person with the workshops, with the
Well,
camps.
what are the 3 rates?
Yeah, they got
Oh,
the camps,
3
just
rates.
do the 3 rates.
Yeah, I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but the basic is around 125, the elite is around 400, and then the pro is around 700
Per year?
per month.
Per month? That really increases the cost of the family to get on the ice.
Well, we're hoping that this can cut costs, so they don't have to go find a nutritionist, they don't have to go find a sports trainer at a young age. This kind of gives them an introduction to all those things, gives them a foundation of it before they make the greater investment if they feel it's necessary.
First, a really outstanding connection between your personal experience and the business itself. So kudos to you for recognizing that you should lead with that. Why did you reject an exclusively freemium model? That you're going to give the counseling for free on social media and then grow connections to camps, AAU teams, premium product for families that can afford X number of dollars a month. But you considered it and you rejected it. Tell me why.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think at the end of the day, we're working with the students, but we're selling to the parents because the parents are the ones that are going to be buying this for their children. I don't think the parents are as on social media as the kids are, so I think in order to sell to the families best, it's through in-person connections and less so freemium giving them what we offer online. I think you have to be careful with what you put online because a lot of people could just steal it. So we do want to protect that, and my sister and I both value what we bring to the table, and I think rather than just like putting it out there for free and establishing our connections from there, in order to grow the way we want to, it was important to target the families in a way that we felt appropriate.
Have you applied to do a TED Talk?
It's funny you say that. I actually thought about it 2 days ago, and I was waiting to get this video so that I could put it in the application.
All right, we are out of time. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Two things I want to mention, what Sophia was just saying, that you think about it. What you guys don't know in the general audience, but the judges know, is that what I asked the students to do is prepare a reading deck that they delivered to the judges, or to me, and then I forwarded to the judges 2 weeks ago. So the 7 judges here have had 2 weeks to read, prepare, are already familiar with what the students are presenting here, new to the rest of you, but it's not new to the rest of you. So that's what she was referring to in the reading deck earlier. I'd like to say that for them. Also want to welcome some more colleagues. We have our deans from engineering, Maria Isabel. Just like right there. And Chris, she's dean of engineering, and then Chris Stetzel is dean of computer science. And also our provost, thank you for coming. Sean Kahn and everybody. And there was a engineering area is getting some food. Mike Dugan, I believe. Bill. Sorry, Bill. It's on our board of advisors for, I think, for engineering. So thank you guys for coming. So now we are down to 3. Mrs. Brown is still here, so I will have her pick the lucky next presenter.
3.
3.
Thank you.
3, 4, 5.
All right. So this is going to be dorm E's, Jennifer. I think we figured out you can do that from there. Airplane? No. We'll do it for you. All right. I have to wake my computer up. So. I got the world's longest password, and it takes me 2 tries to figure it out. Even if you did, it wouldn't help. Classic reading glasses. Oh, good. Okay. This is you, right? No. Is it still up there? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Palma, and I bring to you the board meeting.
We can't hear you.
Simplify. So I am an 8-year active duty Army veteran. Those 8 years I spent managing logistics and operations, coordinating transportation, allocating resources, and executing operations under pressure.